Karun, all set? All set? Karun, all set? Karun, Karun,
Everyone, please settle down. The speaker for today would join us shortly. Please maintain some silence.
Clear the passage.
I would request everybody to stand up. And all present here. We welcome you all to the third day of your orientation. We hope that the last 2 days were a great experience and we were able to welcome you well. Despite the overwhelming amount of information that you might have received in the last 2 days, we hope you are still as enthusiastic and energetic as you were on day 1. We hope you are still looking forward to learning more as we still have much more exciting things in store for you. 2 years back, I was also sitting at your place waiting for this journey to start, and trust me, this is going to be the best roller coaster ride, full of fun, knowledge, growth, and ultimate success. The day you will end this journey, you'll surely miss the memorable time that you spent here. While heading into this journey of yours, you might have had a lot of ifs and buts on how it would look like and what fruit it would eventually bear for you. To give us a glimpse into this world, today we have Amarjeet Singh as our guest speaker. Hearing from inspirations like him helps us believe more in ourselves and also gives us insights and learnings for making our story as successful as his.
Specializing in the delivery of the strategic projects business of persistent system and engaging with the strategic and critical infrastructure sectors in India, Major General Amarjeet Singh is involved in cybersecurity, data fusion, and privacy engineering R&D projects. Major General Amarjeet Singh holds a Master of Technology in Computer Engineering from IIT Kharagpur. From being an assistant professor at the Military College of Telecommunication Engineering to representing India in an ITU working group, from working at the United Nations headquarters to being a senior research fellow at the Center for Strategic Studies and Simulation, United Service Institution of India. He was responsible for building capabilities in net assessment, scenario planning, and modeling strategy, doctrine, and capabilities. As their Chief Information Officer till 2020, Major General Amarjeet Singh led persistent system internal technology, leading to the completion of a major digital transformation. He has conceptualized the risk-aligned design of persistent global system extending to the public cloud, permitting persistent to provide services for highly sensitive customer with stringent security and compliance mandate. Sir, it's an absolute honor to have you here with us as we welcome the batch of 2026. I would now request ADSA Puneet ma'am to welcome Mr. Singh with a bouquet. Thank you, ma'am. We would now invite Mr. Amarjeet Singh to come over the stage and share with us his wisdom. Over to you, sir.
Is there a mic? The cordless one? Yes, sir. Okay, guys. Honestly, I wouldn't need a mic. There are people from all over India, but see, people from this part of the country are known for being loud. You know, they can be too loud sometimes. That's what the community Punjabis are known for. So you may or may not need the mic, but I'll use the mic. So first of all, I see you're a new batch. The least we can do is, at least I can do is, I'm a Chandigarh native for long. Welcome to Chandigarh. I've never had the good privilege of being student of a college like PEC. It was always aspirational. But I was a youngster here when I finished my 11th class. We didn't have 12th. It would have been a very nice experience if we could have been in PEC then. But you'll see that whatever happens, happens for the best. So anyway, I think you guys are making a beginning in life. It's just the start of your journey in life, right? Till now you were under your parents' thumbs. the first time you are away from your parents, one way or the other, even if you live with them. So yes, exciting period for you. Very happy to talk to you. My thanks to Professor Chawla for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. I met her, and I know her from other context, long relationship, but talking to young students is scary, so it'll take me a couple of minutes to cool down before I can start relating with you. I can talk to people who are 30 years experience in their careers much more comfortably than I can talk to all of you guys just out of school. But I will still make an attempt because that's what I like, talking to younger people. So I'm going to try and go a little fast, right? But I'm going to try and leave some time so that I want to interact with you. I want you to be able to ask questions. I don't know whether you're in a state of mind to be asking questions, going through, intense orientation. What I'll talk is got nothing to do with PEC, by the way. So there's no knowledge of PEC or programs or anything that I have. I'll talk about what my career path has been, what my journey has been, how much is transferable as common things that you may like to know. In the beginning, sometimes after 20 years, you say, somebody had told me this earlier, we would have been all right. But it's difficult to know now what 20 years later you may say, somebody should have told me this. So I'll try and bring out certain things which are not only for first year students of BTech, but these are important things that you will be needing as you go along. Thanks to the student officers who said nice things about me. That's just my resume. It's very complicated. Sometimes even I look at it and say, what was this, what was this? I just want to highlight, I am a retired Major General from the Corps of Signals of the Indian Army, and a soldier remains a soldier till they die, and also they retain their ranks even when they retire, right? So, in the industry, when we come there, we try and drop rank. CIO of Persistent, they would walk up to me and say, Amarjit, what's happening here? We don't know this. It's first name basis. And they would go to the MD, Anand Deshpande, and say, Anand, we don't know this. And he's very happy. We're all very comfortable. So one thing I'm saying is, you will land up in very, very structured environments, and you will land up in first name environments. This is how it is going to be. You have to be ready for both. For me to go to Persistence and say, you don't use General Amarjit sir, then it doesn't make sense. And yet when I talk to a lot of people, even now they say, sir, we can't drop it because you are senior officer, so we would still use sir. I said, no, boss, our convention is to use first name. So I'm saying in this discussion today, and I'm not wanting to make it a lecture, it shouldn't be a tutorial discussion, it should be interaction at the end, I hope so. And I hope you'll ask questions about where you would go after PEC, not in PEC. Notwithstanding, that's where it is. I was in the armed forces for 37 years, right? And then after that, I've been 6 years in the industry. So that's where my knowledge sharing with you will come from. There's lots that the armed forces teaches us. As you say, there are some callings, like teaching is a calling. It's not just a job you do. Once you get into teaching, and typically there are the norms of the profession, and that's professional norms are called a calling. Engineering is not really taken as a calling, but there are certain professions which are taken as a calling, like medicine is taken as a calling. If you are a doctor, there are lots of norms that you follow. If there are callings in a community or in a profession, we have better risk management and things don't go wrong, right? And if we don't have those norms, then things are likely to go wrong. Who knows Sam Bankman-Fried? Anybody heard this name? Anyone? Raise your hand. Anybody who's heard of Sam Bankman-Fried? Okay, interesting. How much Bitcoin do you own? Okay, yeah. So the reason I'm asking you is, see, you all have heard of the word crypto, right? Crypto. Do you know Sam Bankman-Fried lost $39 in 3 days? $39 billion in 3 days? Yeah, you know FTX, what happened to FTX? Okay, in the last 2 years, 3 years, how many companies on the crypto space have just gone under? Are you all aware, right? You had ever heard of, you wouldn't have heard of, but we have. That's not crypto word. You heard of Enron? It was a huge company, just went under. The Enron company's databases, right? That was a company running forever. The entire databases, email, everything, is now research material for people like you and us. Right? So when we do AI, machine learning, so where to get data? Okay, that's typically taken as achievement in engineering, right? There are 220 distinguished fellows in Microsoft, right? So if you wanted to be a pure technology person, that's something to be aspirational about. I would like to become a Microsoft distinguished fellow. That's in the industry. That means connection between industry and research. Otherwise, you will try and become, a research track person, and then eventually you will publish material, you will do research, and one day you'll probably get a Nobel Prize. I wouldn't be surprised if one of you will be there one day. The people who got those prizes just started like you and sitting here. So we don't know where you're going to be. I'll try and show you where you could be going, right? So we'll see. But engineering versus the wider knowledge of where your position in society is and what is ethical for you to do, whether you are in a classroom, whether you are in a college, in your profession, or in society. There's something, at least I am going to urge you not to forget, because you can go so high and then one day you will just fall like that. So you don't want to do that. At least I would not wish that on anybody. You become super successful and you're not aware of what's happening around you, and then one day you're going to just fall like that. I want to take the example because it was just 2 days back. But there I can give you about 100 examples of this. I know many youngsters, some of your friends, would have tried to create co-working facilities and all. Anybody heard of WeWork, right? WeWork was good. I see now more students know about WeWork. WeWork was really, really big, and then one day it was nothing. And what was going on? The founder was buying properties in his name and giving it to WeWork, and then investors would be crazily giving him money. I'm sure 10% of you at the end of PEC will be thinking, I have to create my own company. There are many issues around this. Then we should be able to see how do you define yourself, how do you define a small group. Do you have to be in a big organization, or can you be in a small organization? So this is the context. I got some things on the slides just because I didn't want to get distracted. One thing I was telling Professor Chawla is, if you give me 2 hours, I would talk extempore and we would interact, but she's given me a window of 1 hour, which means for me, I have about half an hour. I've taken 5 minutes already in the introduction. So I'll try and take you through a little structured thing, because this is a college, right? If I didn't have slides, I would be a horrible professor. People would kill me. But I used to have this fight when I was an assistant professor with, our head of department in MCT, Military College of Telecommunication Engineering. I used to teach design of algorithms and computer technology. And then he will come and sit behind, or our head of department will come. They'll say, okay, we don't like your lesson plan. No, you have not written. What are you teaching? Your lesson plan says something else. I said, look, boss, that is only a compliance thing because you want a lesson plan. I will teach what the student wants to learn. So, you will get lesson plans, And there'll be good professors who will stick to lesson plans because they follow process. And there will be some professors who are creative. They'll say, okay, let's talk something else today. And they won't teach at all. But it's expected you will study and come. So you will find this everywhere you go, structure and process versus, exploration. My inclination is towards exploration, and I'm not a structure and process guy that much. On the other hand, if you have to be a chief information officer and a chief information security officer, and if you have to be a general in the armed forces, you better follow process. Otherwise, nobody will let you move one step ahead. So again, there is a balance. Right, so enough about me. One thing I like, absolutely brilliant, is PEC draws students and faculty from all over the country. That's something I think a lot of students don't get comfortable with. See, I used to head the National Cadet Corps in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh over 3-4 years. People have not left their towns, and they are reluctant to leave their towns. They are scared to leave their towns. Their parents are scared to leave their towns. When we would get, how many of you ever seen NCC, by the way? Raise your hand. Oh, fantastic. I am so pleased to see so many hands. I think something NCC may be doing well because you guys have all landed up in PC. See, the first time you went to a camp in NCC, right? You went from school in 9th or 10th. Totally changes what the world looks like. And we could see the transformation in 10 days when people came to a camp and when they left, that was totally different. And anybody went to NCC national camp in Delhi out of the guys who raised their hands? Who, went all the way to the All India camp? Anyone? No. So this is very competitive as well. So the example I'm drawing is, many of you are not new to a global or cosmopolitan environment because you've landed in PEC. But imagine people in a small town in some corner of, not Bihar, because Biharis will go anywhere. And so will Keralites and so will Punjabis. But people in Gujarat, right, they, from a small village in Gujarat, they will not move out. Their whole aspiration in life is to be a CA. 98% of Gujarati students want to be a chartered accountant. And we can't get them into the armed forces, whatever we may try. I'm quite sure about 5% of you will land up in the armed forces. I have seen many, some of my brilliant young officers were from PEC, went to industry for 2 years. They said, we don't like this life. We want to go to the armed forces. And many of them are very successful here. The armed forces have another program. Some of you may have heard of it. It's the direct entry after 12th into the 3 technology colleges, right? MCT, MCME, and CME. Those children are doing brilliantly in the armed forces. So there is a great place for engineers in the armed forces. I just want to say, the Indian Navy, all officers are engineers. All officers are engineers. So is engineering a narrow domain-defined thing? I think, this is a lady from aeronautics here. I tell professors, boss, there's no department anymore. Please, let's not create departments. Studying, learning cannot be department-based. The registrar and the vice chancellor probably kill me if they hear this. But be open to saying, I'm not in a department. Because that's how life is multidisciplinary, professions are multidisciplinary. I can assure you, those of you trying to pick up a job without any knowledge of which department you are coming from, all the Infosys guys will be lining up and they'll be taking aeronautical student happily. Because they're saying, okay, this guy knows engineering, isko padhna to aata bhai. So that guy can do an assignment, we will take him, we will teach him. And all of us in the industry, not only IT industry, there's 1 year of formal training that we'll put you through, right? In Persistent, we get people from all over India. 1 year, they just train before we'll try and make them earn money. Those who are clever will get assigned to projects very early. But if I'm a business leader, I don't have to pay for them. The company pays for their training. So, look, I went and, a appeared for my pre-medical exam, right on the other side in sector 15, AFMC entrance exam. I was in DAV college for 1 year after I left school, and then I went to the armed forces. And I was a, very smart guy in biology and the medical side. I did pre-medical, right? I did pre-medical. In school, luckily our school, I was in a residential school called King George's School. Now they're called military schools. Anybody from a military school, by the way, by any chance? Okay, maybe not. Or anybody from residential schools? How many people from residential schools? Any of you from residential schools? Okay, that's very disappointing because there should be more people from residential schools. I was in a residential school from grade 6. Our school was so organized that they would force us to do 6 subjects instead of the 5 required for class 11. In our times, we used to have only class 11. Class 12 came much later, about 7-8 years after us. And by some luck, I just appeared in maths. I used to hate my maths teacher, but I passed in maths and I had 47% marks. I mean, you can imagine. And I was my class topper with 70%, but maths I had 47. And then when I appeared here, I went for pre-medical. I got through the written exam. I said, boss, too much of academics, hum to mar jayenge. And then I said, look, let me go to the armed forces. We'll have to study less. Okay, now I have 3 master's degree acquired during my service career. And I'm still reading at night even now. And then when I went to the National Defense Academy, they said, you want to be art student, science student? I said, boss, you'll be science student. They said, but maths hona chahiye. I said, luckily I was maths pass. So then they put me there. And all through NDA, BSc, I was in some lower class. Better students were put in A, the weaker ones were A, B, C, D. I was in C in the middle. I was in the toppers in the group. Because of my maths, I was there. And we used to go to the class E students, and their professor will give them 20 questions of maths. ये पढ़ लेना पास हो जाओगे नहीं मरोगे नहीं अफसर बन जाओगे. We used to go and take those 20 questions, and that's how I passed through NDA at the top of my class after taking the questions from the class E students. And this is truth, I am not exaggerating anything. The point is, where you are now and where you will be later, there is no connection. There could be a connection, right? I wanted to be a doctor, right? I wanted to be a doctor. But, I mean, now I am, in some other very high level in engineering. So you never know. And one word I will use later on somewhere, you just wait for the opportunity. There's another thing. There are some of you are very focused and you know exactly what you want to do. I'm sure 50% of you are planning to go to Canada. How many people planning to go to Canada? Honestly raise your hands, okay? Don't lie to me. How many people are trying to go to Canada, okay? All these Punjabis, they'll in any case go to Canada. Others may or may not, right? I just came listening to a documentary in Canada about what's happening, what fake universities people are going to. But the fact is, look, if that is what your aspiration is meant to, you will succeed there as well, right? So it's just nothing. My son, he did his engineering in telecommunications from Delhi College of Engineering, very premier college. Did 2 years in Bangalore. He said, I hate these jobs. I will not do these jobs. He went to Stanford. He did some other degree. And what he does now is one small part of what was covered in his master's in Stanford. So, again, as I say, there's people who will tell you to focus, go deep, make an objective. And there's the other side saying, look, please keep your mind open. You don't know where you're going to go and what you learned today and what you're going to do. Maybe you're going to do very different things than what you have thought right now. So, big thing that I'm putting in front of you is, look, there's uncertainty in the real world. And you better get prepared for it. Uncertainty requires you to do a lot of preparation, and that requires a lot of width. If you want to be certain, it's a very different journey that you will map out for yourself. And it is okay, I'm telling you, within 2 years of leaving PEC, 80% of you will not be doing engineering jobs. Take it from me. Okay. We've had people joining Persistent, working, in IT for 2 years and say, we are fed up, now we are going for MBA. How many of you already planned their MBA, already appearing for MBA? Why are you wasting your time here? No, don't worry. You're not wasting your time here. That's what my point is. Engineering is a learning discipline. That's all it is. Okay. If you look at it like engineering is a learning discipline, engineering about learning to learn. None of what your professors are going to grade you on has any correlation with reality. Let me tell you that. In the real world, you have all the manuals and book at your beck and call. You don't have to sit in the exam and write something. When I did my master's in management science, they would make us do linear programming on a sheet of paper by hand. I was saying, look, boss, I can do it in Excel in 5 minutes. Why do you take 40 minutes in an exam and then give me maybe 10 marks out of 12? Because you didn't like the way I did linear programming. I'll do it in 2 minutes in Excel. So the thing is that as long as you take engineering as a capability building thing, it's not capability in aeronautics or electronics or mechanical. This is too early for that. I mean, I hate what the Indian education system has done. We've got now specialization in bachelor's level. I mean, come on, have a heart. What is this BBA? I'm going to be upfront with you. I think it's all bakwas. There's nothing called BBA. You cannot be BBA. I mean, you don't know, how to write one-page application. And you're saying, now I'm going bachelor in business administration of what? Look, boss, do some basic education. Now, unfortunately, what happens is you have to get good marks in engineering. So you will not study the basic subjects. I can tell you this, because I have a son who's 36 years old, and when I told him, look, they are teaching you systems analysis, better learn it, you'll need it all your life. You said, मेरे को टेलीकॉम के पेपर में पास होना, नंबर नहीं आएंगे, इसका मेरे को क्या करना है, इसका तो क्रेडिट बहुत कम है. It's got very 2 credits. Colleges are also like that. The real thing are not given credit, and if you give credit to something which is, your book is there going to be with you in your life. So, I mean, sorry, I'm going all over the place, but the point is, look, I hope there's nobody recording it and showing it to the professors. They'll never let me in back here again. So I told you, I'm not representing PEC by any chance, okay? They'll probably blacklist me after this. Okay, so let's see the slide somewhere. How do I move it? You stand here, okay? Don't run away. Okay, so look, some of this I already mentioned, and I'm going a little casual because Professor Chawla told me, look, these guys won't react. They are mostly dead. वो चुपचाप बैठे रहते हैं. I said, let me attempt this. Okay, I hope you're all awake now. So the aim was to raise you from the dead. Hopefully it's okay now. So now I'll tell some theory. It's in a slide, but these are important things that I want to leave with you. You will hear this thing as you go in your profession. Even PEC, anybody knows what the vision of PEC is? Mission of PEC is? Anybody? Okay. Student affairs, students should at least know, right? But look, nobody reads those. And we all write them. There is a reason it is very difficult to say where you want to go. You are very, very rare person who can say, I want to be world champion in billiards, and then prepare for that. Okay, when I was in India, we used to play a lot of billiards. A lot of us thought we are, great sheikhs at billiards. But it just went away. I mean, once I got married, my wife said, you spend 2 hours in billiard rooms, I'll kill you. तुम घर में काम करो यार. Go to the laundry machine and do something. You're going for 2 hours for billiard, I'll kill you. When I became senior, then people said, we'll go 4 hours for golf. Because you can go 4 hours for golf, and you can become a huge golfer. How many golfers here? Good for you. Some of you will become actually champion golfers. Some of you will. But the fact is, narrow and focus. And then steady there. That's what missions and visions are about. My input to you is, you should have a mission and vision in your mind for yourself, but be amenable to changing it because uncertainty, because opportunity. So you'll have to sit down every year and say, what's my mission, what's my vision for myself? I am an organization. All of you are organizations, right, in one way or the other. You'll have to revise that. There is no single thing. But lucky among you, and hats off to somebody who can write their mission and vision for the next 20 years. At least I was never in a position, and most of us are in not, let me tell you. Even companies are not in it. Huge companies who have 100 people in the strategy division, even they can't write this down. What happens is very different. So, on the other side, but there are objectives that are very, very attainable, right? Objective means this is a specific outcome I am looking for, and you have a time line in your mind. So your objective was to get into IIT, but you got into PEC. How many, please raise your hands, whose objective was IIT, but they got into PEC? Okay, thank you very much. Nothing happened, boss. Nothing happened. You are better off. Why? I used to have an IAS officer who was from IIT, right? As a tenant in our house in Sector 33, and my dad would go and change the, fuse, and that guy was an IIT engineer. And one day my dad was not there, and he was cribbing in the evening, "Subah se hamare ghar mein light nahi hai." So my dad said, "Hey, you could have replaced the fuse." He said, "Main kaise karunga?" So he was an IT engineer. He was IAS officer, but he could not replace the fuse. So, okay, don't go there. At least learn how to replace the fuse. How many of you don't know how to replace the fuse? Raise your hand honestly. Many guys. That's it. Okay? So, in the real world, you will have to replace the fuse. I mean, it's a kind of a theme I'm giving you. Please replace the fuse wherever you are. You'll be highly valued. Nobody is interested in your qualifications and certifications. I shouldn't again say it in PEC, they will kill me for this. But look, in the real world, certifications are only a filter. Okay, boss, किसने BTech किया हुआ इनके resume में इधर रख दो, वो BSc IT वालों का इधर रख दो. The fact is, the BSc IT guys probably are cleverer than half of these guys. But at that time, they went to BSc IT, they couldn't go there. So, I'll leave it at that. Now, objectives are important. Okay, I won't say objectives are not important. You must draw objectives. That's a shorter term thing. Otherwise, how will you do anything? So, write down your objective for the year, write down your objectives for 4 years, but be willing to revise them based on the reality that you are watching. And not only constraints, there will be constraints, okay? You can overcome constraints. But the reality has opportunities, which when you were writing your objectives, you didn't know the opportunities existed. So I'm urging all of you, please go for experiences, right? If somebody says, we are going to be able to do this, you're saying, boss, आज तो रात को मैं ना घोटा मारना है, कल ना पुनीत चावला मैडम नहीं तो दे देगी, C grade दे देगी, फिर फंस जाएंगे. कोई बात नहीं बॉस, कुछ नहीं हो जाएगा. If there is an experience to be had, go and take that experience. Because it will tell you about new opportunities. So, when you are writing objectives, your context and visibility of the environment is low. As it grows even more. So, be expanding your vision is what my recommendation to is always expand as much as you can. Right? Now, I'm going to caution, there are, as I mentioned, Sam Bankman-Fried and many other people, you can have objective. It's good. I'm seen in college, in NDA, in school. Because you have only so many assets, you are likely to say, मेरे को ये कैसे करना है? इसका पत्ता काट देते हैं. Okay? So, okay, once in a while you'll have to do it. Okay? Some the really bad guy, उसका पत्ता काटना पड़ता है. Right? But there's only one position in some team or whatever. But you compete hard, okay? But competing unfairly is another thing altogether. And then please, objectives. Your objective may run counter to the objective of your family, may run counter to the objective of your organization. This resolving the conflict requires a value system. My recommendation to you is you all come from decent families. Please don't give up on your values for some objective that you have written down. Put a limit on what you will do. Okay? Will you cheat in the exam? Okay, let's be honest, okay? How many people have asked the neighbor, iska answer bata de bhai, till now? How many people? Okay, how many have not asked? I want to ask that guy. Never? Okay, boss, I am so happy to see 3 guys because I am on the other group, okay? I have seen that. No, but I'll tell you what. No, I used to be in this group. But at some stage in life, I realized, boss, ये नहीं करना है यार. This is wrong, okay? So look, वो wisdom किसी भी दिन आ सकता है, सुबह उठ के आ जाएगा. Or you will see your friend, somebody here who raised their hand, I have never cheated, right? Please raise your hand this side. Who raised your hand? Yeah, okay. Please, boss. Professors, organization. This is a guy that, I must treasure like this because I have to use him as influence to improve my organization and stop cheating in my organization. All these guys who put up fake results. Anybody heard of Satyam Computers? You guys are too young. Okay, maybe not born when Satyam Computer shut down. It was bought by Mahindras then, right? But when I was a colonel and I was doing my master's in management science in Hyderabad, we went to Satyam. It was such a fantastic place, huge campus in Hyderabad. And next year we knew that all their books are cooked. All their books were cooked. The board was cheating, the founder was cheating, everybody was cheating at those levels. I mean, they were overseen. It was a public company, SEBI. I had put some money in, Satyam Computers. And in the 99 IT craze, I thought I have become very rich. Then one day I had no money. So the same thing happening over and over and over again. It will happen in your professions. You'll see a rising star within your group suddenly fall down because they were not following certain value-based approach. I'm saying please don't discard values. Add as much value as you can, values. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. And I'm saying key results. Objectives have intermediate points that if you have to go there, you should have done this. So if your objective is to go and do, PhD in MIT, how many PhD candidates here? Aspirants, how many PhD aspirants? Okay, तो पहली चीज तो है कि प्रोफेसर के आगे पीछे होना शुरू कर लो भाई. No, थोड़ा सा casually बोल रहा हूँ, but look, PhD means everything depends on your guide. What will happen in a PhD, how you will navigate your lifestyle, you need somebody to be able to tell you, guide you there. So if you are PhD aspirants, what you are choosing in your life is a research track. Don't choose PhD because you want to make too much money. Then it will be a conflicting objectives. You would want a research track because you enjoy researching and finding new things. Then don't think you are going to become super rich on the research track. Doesn't happen in the real world. Some people do, but most of the people don't. So there is sequencing that's called key results under objectives. You can write an objective and then you have to write what key results I need to be able to go there, whom all am I dependent on. There are dependencies because you may want to go to the US and study. There's a dependency. Who's going to give you the money, boss? Do your parents have that much money? Are you going to earn yourself when you go there? You'll have to look at that and then work towards it. So when we do financial investing, you are too young, but about 10 years on or 5 years on, people tell you, apna financial target likh lo. Your parents, some of them probably had financial target, keep enough money for my sons or daughters' engineering exam. And nowadays, नहीं है, but पहले होता था कि लड़की की शादी करनी है. Let me tell you, लड़के की शादी करने के लिए भी उतना ही पैसा लगता है बॉस. So, you know, if you are saying हमने बच्चों की शादी करनी है, there is a number you want, not because the child needs it, because तुम्हारे रिश्तेदारों और दोस्तों ने तुम्हारा खाना पीना खाना है. Okay? That is what the money is required for. But people put it as an objective. And that's a fair objective for your parents' thing. You will say कि मेरे को US जाना, पैसा दे दो, right? There was a movie, Khosla ka Ghosla. Anybody seen it? Yeah. There is a conflict about paisa, property, plot, and you know, one son, he wants to go abroad, and then the parents, you know, retire ho gaya, uske paise ka kya karna hai. This problem you'll find all the time. Parents just retired, they get bulk money, and the entire family is fighting किसके हिस्से में आएगा. Nobody is worried कि बड़ी वो जो बूढ़े हैं वो 20 साल के बाद क्या होगा उनका. What is the average lifespan in India nowadays? About 80, right? When do we retire? Typically, if we have stable jobs, at about 60. There are about 20-25 years of post-retirement life. But here's my counter to your urgency to achieve everything. What's your age? Typically 21, 22, something like that? 23? Okay, whatever. You're going to be working till 70, okay? I'm telling you now. I am 65 and I have so much work, I don't know how to do it, right? And I was on 3 calls yesterday night and I said, मेरे को कल को पैक में जाना. They said, ये पंगा क्यों लिया तुमने? मैंने कहा नहीं यार, स्टूडेंट से बात करनी अच्छा लगता है. So the fact is that I am running 65, I'm working. I'm very sure I'll work till 70. You guys are the next generation. You are going to definitely work till 70. You are just 23 or whatever it is. So there's time to do many things, many careers you can adopt. You will not have one career, you will have multiple careers. In the armed forces, I have done telecommunications, I have done administration, I have done discipline, I have done finance, I have done, logistics. I've been in the United Nations as a military observer. And now in the IT industry, I've been CIO, and now I develop products. These are all different career paths. Each of them could be a full career path. And yet, time is a game. So one thing I want to leave with you guys, there are alternatives. When you are saying key results to objectives, something can be achieved not by one way. It can be achieved by multiple ways. Draw that plot. It's not, what I'm saying is, likh lo, slide mein dal lo, diary mein likh lo, but in your mind be clear. Okay, next please. Right. Now, anybody heard this phrase, people, process, technologies? Look, engineers should be wedded to that phrase. People, process, and technologies. Just take it from me, all your life. An engineer's life is people, process, and technologies. You cannot just build a machine. That machine has a lot of ecosystem, and there are people involved in building it and using it. I'm just putting it in that form. Nothing succeeds. I know there were hundreds of startups who come with a brand new product. It never succeeds because they did not address the other things called people and process. So, people and process, unfortunately, is not taught in PEC. Okay. Some of the process will be taught to you, but people part will not be taught. Why you'll find a lot of Fauji's are successful? Because the armed forces and certain things are only about people. When I, as a colonel, have to tell my officers, boss, you guys have to go and attack, there is an 85% chance you are going to die. And then people will still attack. There is no technology behind it. I'm saying artillery fire डाल रहे हैं, 20 kilometer दूर से artillery fire आ रहा है, and the shell is going to land 50 meters ahead of you. And we'll cover you with artillery fire, and then there'll be machine gun here, there'll be machine gun here. But there's the enemy, and he's got a machine gun. Now 10 of you go and attack that machine gun. Do you think there is any technology around it? Can I teach you in PEC how to do that? No, it cannot be done. There's a lot of people think. People get scared. People will not do. You know the casualties in the armed forces? The officer casualty is about 10% of the casualty for men in terms of proportion. Why? You have to stand in front and lead your men. Then to say, oh, attack karo, main idhar trench mein hu, kuch nahi hota hai. And the reason I'm saying this, people, is in the real world, you are not doing combat or armed forces, but it is competitive. It is also adversarial often, right? You're going to have inter-faculty competition, this and all. It is adversarial. So, usme jo hai, somebody has to lead, and you have to put your, many things on the block saying, okay, I am willing to lead, and bach gaye to, theek hai, nahi bach gaye to at least organizational objective. So, people. Those of you who have very good people skills will become fantastic HR professionals, telling people how to, have people competencies. And engineers can become very good HR professionals. What am I trying to tell you? Is there an HR department where you are being given an engineering degree in HR? But so much work in HR can be contributed by engineers. So you can do that. I'm just saying, more important is, look, I was discussing with Professor Chawla, I believe 50% of you live in hostel and 50% are, day scholars. Associations are important. आपका सब हमारे ज़माने में तो होता नहीं था. Now it is there. School group, school WhatsApp group. All of you are in some school grouping, right? Then you will be in a college grouping. Then you will be in your company's grouping. All those things will be there. People don't work alone. I want to highlight to you. Till you were in school, you were able to work alone. Your team was your family. Now you are going to have syndicate solution. अभी मैं बता रहा हूँ syndicate solution में एक बंदा काम करता है, 3 बंदे सिर्फ चाय लाते हैं. That's okay. I'm just trying to tell you. I used to be syndicate work. You are going to get a lot of syndicate work in college. Think about it hard. We take it very casually. But take syndicate work as a mirror of your rest of your life. And in syndicates, people have to take on different jobs. That is what a syndicate solution looks like. It means 8 of you are given a particular assignment. You have to distribute your own work. You'll find natural leaderships emerging. If you are a leader, is okay. If you are a designer, somebody will say, bhai, aap iska design bana do. Somebody will say, you go and do the grunt work. Fitting ho jati hai apne aap. If successful syndicate is where people have found roles for themselves. My biggest take for you guys is, look, you will never be alone. You will always be in a group. And you have to learn how to operate in a group. In PEC, learn how to be a successful syndicate worker. You will be a great success in your career. That's what I want to tell you. You're not going to like this because there you are going to वो चटकी वाले लोग आ जाते हैं. भाई तू कर ले यार, हमारा नाम लिख देना इसमें. अच्छा मैं फाइलिंग करा लूँगा. This is the number 1 guy. वो से I'll go to वहाँ सेक्टर 11 में बाइंडिंग कराने का मेरी जिम्मेवारी है. तुमने जिसने लिखना है लिख दो या मैं टाइप करा दूंगा. That is a valid role I am telling you. Okay, so but the fact is a team has roles and you have to find a role for yourself. More important is tribes. Your associations take you forward. See, our company changed our CEO 2 years back, right? 50% of the senior people who were there before him have left. 70% of the senior people at our company are who have previously worked with our CEO in another organization or before that. That's called tribes, okay? If you are in a tribe, you are safe for certain things and you get some opportunities that the tribe offers. On the other hand, tribes can be very, very constraining also. Because tribes develop norms and they will throw you out, if you don't ascribe to tribe. Have you seen all this nature, wildlife movies and all, right? You see herds, groups. The real world looks like that. If you are there, you will be in a good tribe. You will find a tribe and then you will grow there. You can basically glide through your life. Then what is the important thing? Find the right people to get associated with. When I told the PhD guys कि प्रोफेसरों के आगे पीछे हो लो, I am saying join the research tribe, right? This professor has 4 professor associates where they have co-written a paper and they have presented in a conference, they know each other. What they tell the professor that this is a good PhD student is far more value than your statement of purpose. So tribes are good, but be careful of what can go wrong with tribes. So tribes lead to groupthink also. And then, you can get very narrowly stuck there. In the armed forces, right, we have tribes. What is that? Regimental associations. We have para guys who go around with, maroon something. They will look after their officers and their group crazily. You'll find all those officers are moving ahead in life, or some other arm or service which is not organized that much like a tribe. Unke bande piche hi reh jayenge. So associate with a good tribe. It is a generic word, but I hope you can get what I'm saying. Okay, now I'm just leaving it here. Listening, mentoring, coaching. Please find, I'm not going to say you can be a coach, right? But, right, we expect second year, third year, fourth year students to be mentors to first year student. If you are told to mentor, don't be reluctant to mentor. You guys are, so now for you is to find the right mentors. Mentors will not come across. You have to go and reach out to people. Okay? Find a mentor. Find a mentor means reaching out to people who are not in your group, who may be senior to you. Mentors will generally be senior and more experienced. Find good mentors. If one thing I can tell you to succeed is find a good mentor. You will be very nice. Coaching is a different thing. That means some mentors will tell you exactly what to do. They'll behave like a tribe. Some mentors will be like coaches who will ask you a lot of questions. My mentoring style is a coaching style. I keep asking you, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'm not going to give you any answers. You tell me what you want to do, but I'm going to ask you all the relevant questions. But listening is important when talking to people. Have you seen your mom and dad fighting? Any of you? Nobody? तुम्हारे parents इतने मतलब loving हैं. Not Professor Chawla, they don't fight. I know that. Okay, so there are 2 professors, they can't afford to fight. मुश्किल हो जाएगी. But we find fights happening at home in your parents, right? I fight with my wife all the time, by the way. And my son says, तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब हो गया क्या? The point is listening. What happens is we are adversarial because we are always trying to defend ourselves. If you are always trying to defend ourselves, you will stop listening. So firstly, don't try and defend yourself. Be open to new thought, new. And then somebody says, oh boss, kya ho gaya? What happened to your zip on the pant? I'm older guy, तो हो जाता है अक्सर. You don't have to react के boss ये तेरे को क्या है ये? ठीक है भाई, input आ गई है. So I'm giving an example. Somebody will say, oh, you just came 10 minutes late. Don't start defending yourself. There must be a reason. You just say, yeah, there was something. But don't become aggressive. What happens to most of us in family life, groups and organizations, we become defensive and become aggressive. But you go to listening and you'll be okay. Related point, please, learning and unlearning. I think I have told you already. What you learned in school, you'll have to unlearn here. What you're going to learn here, you're going to unlearn in your real life. What we say is what management college doesn't teach you. So what will be taught here, a lot of it you will have to unlearn. I'm asking you to be able to wipe the slate repeatedly. When we were in India, I'll give you a small episode. I think I'm going beyond time. Within NDA, right, we used to have raincoats and we used to have cycles. We had to put on the raincoat and drive around NDA all the time, right? And somebody will either pick up our cycle. I hope nobody owns cycles. But in cycle times, people would take away your cycle all the time. Then raincoat rakha tha, somebody will take it away. Then what convention became, कि भाई जो भी cycle मिलती है वो ले लो, तुम दूसरे की उठा लो, तुम्हारा उठा रहा है. That is survival instinct. No, you could find raincoats in which there were 17 academy numbers written. How? किसी का रेनकोट उठाया, उसमें ब्लैक पेंट में व्हाइट में नंबर लिखा, आप उसमें ब्लैक मारो, नई जगह ब्लैक में अपना नंबर लिख दो. आई एम टेलिंग यू, there were so many raincoats with 10, 12 numbers. And then, look, it was accepted norm. The senior will say, boss, this is survival, kar lo. But, and I found that a lot of officers in the armed forces will still continuing that for 10 years. Hey, boss, wo India mein chhod ke aao usko. You cannot be picking up people's cycles and raincoats when you have come to the profession. You will be destroyed. So, unlearning basically the tricks of survival of one place need to be unlearned. It doesn't happen consciously. You'll have to make great effort to unlearn because you fall in a pattern and you keep doing. जो स्कूल में सीखा था अभी करोगे तो मर जाओगे. अब यहाँ प्रोफेशन में शुरू में सीखोगे, that will be for a young professional. If you try and do it as a senior guy, you will be stuck. As a young guy, you will avoid work. Okay, you will not volunteer. मैं कॉलेज में बताया यार कौन volunteer करे, अपना एग्जाम की तैयारी करो. But as you become middle manager, if you don't volunteer, you will not get work. You will not get work. People will say निकलो यहाँ से. जिस दिन ले ऑफ होगा दिल से, जिनके पास कम काम है इनको निकाल दो. So as you go, volunteering at a younger thing you don't want to do is a survival problem. You have to unlearn not to volunteer and start volunteering as you are going forward. I'm giving you examples of learning and learning. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on process because engineering college is about process. They will teach you process, design, how this whole thing happens. Process is important to your personal life and professional life as engineers, and that is the base capability every other profession wants from engineers. Doctors don't have that much process. Now they have a lot of process. But homeopath, do you think the homeopath has a process? Anybody met a homeopath for some real problem? I hated homeopathy, saying these are all fake. But my son got a very severe autoimmune problem. All the allopathic doctors, neurosurgeons said nothing can be done. We went to some guy, he did some trials on this guy for 3-4 months. Now he's taking his medicine and he's fine for last 4 years. The example is, you don't know the answers, but process is important. It is repeatable, economy, efficiency, at least for finding time and space for yourself to do new things. Build strong processes in your day-to-day life is what I can say. If you are disorganized the whole day, you will not get spare time for something that you really want to do about the future, explore things. How is it that some students are able to do 10 things and some students are stuck with only one thing? Because they have got better process and make time for themselves. Next, please. Go back 1 moment. So look, I'll probably skip all the other slides. There are certain things here I'm highlighting to you. You are not a management college, but you better know these things. Selling, marketing, engineering and delivery, finance, HR, vigilance, right? Look, this group appears at every small grouping that you will work on, right? So if you have a syndicate work, let's say I'm taking PEC example, somebody has to do the selling and marketing. Who's the selling and marketing person in a syndicate? How many of you have ever participated in any hackathon? You guys are still arrived in college, so there'll be many hackathons. Incidentally, Persistent sponsors the All India Software Hackathon, and you'll find many of us there in hackathons. I think PEC probably hosts a hackathon, if I'm not wrong. I tried to come, but the company said, no, you go elsewhere. So what are hackathons is try and do a longer thing in a shorter period of time to get an experience. Is it doable or not? It's a startup mindset. It is a agile methodology. I'm saying you have to learn yourself selling, because you have to sell yourself. You have to sell your idea. When you write a statement of purpose As a PhD applicant, what are you doing? Selling, right? You're trying to sell yourself to some professor who say, yaar, ye banda theek hai, ye le lete hain. So selling. Marketing. Marketing is not about you. Marketing is about your offering, right? Engineering and delivery is the hard part. That is what we have got you here in PEC to teach you, do engineering and delivery. But don't think that sales and marketing is for somebody else. In all the companies, 80% sales staff are engineers. We have sales engineer. The title is a sales engineer. The title is a custom support engineer, which is a sales and marketing job. So I'm saying, if you are not a hardcore technology guy, it's fine. If you think you have selling and marketing skills, then even in the industry you can be a very successful professional, is what I'm saying. But it happens in concentric circles. In your family, somebody does the selling and marketing, somebody does the finance, somebody does the HR, somebody does the vigilance, right? In some families, the mom does the vigilance, some families, very few families, the dad does the vigilance. Things may be changing. वो discipline कौन लगाता है? I mean, like in our family, my son used to say, "Who are you? तेरा क्या मतलब है? तुम निकलो इधर से. I don't listen to you." Mom, well, I have to listen to mom. She was holding the portfolio of discipline and vigilance. I am holding the portfolio of finance. In modern families, finance is held by, both the couple holds finance. But I'm giving an example. Is this anything to do with aeronautics or mechanical or no? This has got nothing to do with that. But whether you are doing aeronautics, mechanical, engineering, electronics, those jobs have to be done. Start thinking about those. Are you a better fit there or are you better fit, in a vertical? I'll come to that. Okay, let's go. Just one, sorry. I want to tell you project management is a very complex job. Canada में सारे job project management वाले हैं. जो लोग Canada जाने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, project management सीख लो. Okay, वहाँ जाके नहीं तो पढ़ लेना. See, because the project management guy is not the guy who's going to deliver anything, but crucial to orchestrate and coordinate. Professor Chawla says, मैं Dean Student Affairs हूँ, मेरा job तो event management है. I'm saying, sorry, your job is not event management, your job is orchestration of other activities of the student other than what their department does. It's a very important job. If you want, you can be a specialist in orchestration. It's a very valuable place. You learn orchestration, you will be fine. Syndicate leader बना देते हैं, लेकिन orchestration नहीं आती है. So I would always recommend that make anybody syndicate leader, but make sure who's the operations guy in a syndicate. बॉस ये 8 बंदों को मिला के काम कौन कराएगा? That's a very important job. Okay, next. I'm again being agnostic to the technologies that you are told here, and I'm putting some other technologies. Look, all of you better understand how to deal with information and data. Okay? Is core to every single discipline of engineering, but almost everything else. How many people have some familiarity with Excel? Anyone? Okay. Too few. Okay, let me put you down. 20 years hence, if you are in certain parts, you'll be only dealing with Excel. Managers only deal with Excel. Orchestration deal with Excel. Sales deal with Excel. Look, if one thing I can leave you, become masters at Excel. It is a tool that will pay you in anything that I am describing to you. Say एक बंदा 65 years का जनरल आया था, वो बोल रहा है एक्सेल सीख लो. याद करोगे 5 साल के बाद, मैंने बोला था 10 साल के बाद कि एक्सेल सीख लो. Because look, Excel is a programming environment, it is a data management environment, it is a decision framework. You can do fantastic things. Now beyond that you can do, but I have just put it there. My son earns whatever he earns in the US, 500K a year only. I asked him, boss, तुमने Stanford में क्या सीखा था? But डैड जो Excel सीखी ना वो बहुत काम आ रही है. Everything else is okay. So please understand, data processing and crunching is not for the IT guys, it's for everybody. Please be very good at that. Coding, Do you all have to be coding, guys? No. What is meant by coding is converting a concept to a set of instructions. That's about all. When I used to teach not with a language. I used to teach C in my time. But I used to say, look boss, मेरी class में सिर्फ pseudo code लिखा जाएगा. Right? No language. If you have to become successful, you have to lead teams, groups, you have to convert thought to instruction. That is what it is. But realistically, all of you will do some automation. All of you have to write code. आप मैकेनिकल के हो, एरोनॉटिकल के हो, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के हो, इंजीनियर, इलेक्ट्रिक, किसी के भी हो. All of you have automated systems today. And the least you are expected to write 10 lines of code to automate some process. Right? हमारे ज़माने में command line language होती थी, batch file होती थी, वो तो चला गया. It's a surviving, it will never die. The command line interface to life is what you are looking at. Can you write a series of commands which result in a particular outcome? Kindly do that. Analysis and synthesis, okay? These are two skills. An analysis says observe and explain what is happening. That is analysis. Very valuable skill. You have to be able to do it. When you go to a customer, try and solve an engineering problem, the first thing you'll have to do is analyze. If you are very good at analysis, I'll make you a business analyst in any discipline that you are. It's a very valuable job. You don't have to write ever code or do any engineering, do that. You are a business analyst. And then you just write down what is the problem, what is the scope, what is the direction we are looking at, analysis. Synthesis is more creative work. You want to do design, you want to do architecture, you'll have to do the synthesization part. अब नया कुछ बनाना है. This is cyclic. You analyze, synthesize. Your own mission and objectives. First you'll have to analyze, then synthesize. So I'm just giving that example, correlation. Observation and feedback. Again, in your real career, you will be very successful if you are very observant. But more important, learn to give feedback. Especially younger people are horrible at giving feedback. All my IT engineers, I used to come and get them in my room and say, पहले दरवाजा बंद कर, पहले तेरे पेट में 2 मुक्के मारूंगा. कि अभी बता रहे हो कुछ हो गया बॉस, तुम्हारे को 1 हफ्ता पहले पता था कि ये नहीं हो पाएगा काम तुमसे. Why didn't you tell me 1 week earlier? Feedback means you want to collect feedback, enable a mechanism by which you can give feedback. जो बंदा होता है ना, सॉरी थोड़ा लूज टॉक करी होगी, नॉट गुड, बट वो जो एक बंदा होता है ना, आशिक मिजाज, हाँ, पिक्चर में भी वो 5-6 लड़कियों के पीछे घूमता रहता है. ही थिंक्स आई एम अ वेरी स्मार्ट गाय एंड ही इज नॉट गेटिंग फीडबैक. दे हेट हिम. तेरे को मारेंगी अगर तेरे को पकड़ लिया तो, राइट? Because he is not receiving the feedback. Those bloody girls are hating him. I mean, could be other way around nowadays. I mean, हिंदी के सीरियल में तो उल्टा होता है ना, 4 लड़कियां होती हैं, 1 बंदा होता है. And you know, they are not getting feedback. ये बंदा is not going to respond to us. And 4 girls are fighting over 1 guy. वो देखा ना, नागपुर का एक बंदा है. I mean, there's a Hindi serial. Nobody watches Hindi serials. Older people watch. My wife watches. So the reality is, be open to feedback. Because you may be going wrong and you're not even aware, not listening, but you're not taking feedback from the environment. Please take feedback from the environment. More important, please give feedback. So, सिखाया जाता है, set your boundaries and tell your boss, tell your family, tell your wife, यहाँ है भाई limit. That is feedback. Please give the feedback also and receive feedback. Okay, छोड़ दीजिए. Last point, I'll just leave it here. Horizontals and verticals. Certain skills and competencies are like this. They run across organizations and you can decide to go there. Okay. For example, HR is typically in organizations a horizontal. Student affairs, is it a vertical? No, it's a horizontal. But do you think you can become professional in student affairs? Of course, you can start your own company, of organizing, trainings, hundreds of things. It's very valuable, it's very lucrative by the way. करते कुछ नहीं, एक ही चीज बार बार आके हर कॉलेज में दिखा के पैसे ले जाते हैं वो सारे. तो if you want to go there, if your student affair में तुम्हारा दिल लग रहा है, तो you can go and do that job. Horizontals, that means you have to deal with all types of people because you have a particular horizontal skill. I don't know whether I am able to convey this, but the point is, in the profession, you can either join horizontals or you can join verticals. Verticals are essentially your disciplines in engineering that you're seeing. But for example, in my company, we have a BFSI discipline, vertical, business finance. They know the domain knowledge. If you want to be a domain knowledge person, it is okay to be a domain knowledge person. If you don't want to be domain knowledge and have the same thing applied to various domains, then you are a horizontal guy. Both options are available in your life. Absolutely the last thing, width versus depth, okay? I'm a width guy. I mean, if you see my name on LinkedIn, you guys are not on LinkedIn. Most of you will not be, but if you will be there, you'll see so much width. That width by itself is very good for certain people, but as you grow higher, the T model applies, okay? What is the T model? Don't lose your basic depth at least in one area or one domain or one vertical. Otherwise, you're likely to somebody say, you've been made redundant or something. If you are a specialist in something, you need to be a specialist in something. So be a specialist in something and then have a lot of width across many other things. When you become even more successful and senior, then we recommend the pie model. Okay, have specialization in 2 areas and then have even more width. The pie top is bigger than the T top, and then that is what you want to do. I'm going to stop here. I will, if there is time, I'm happy to talk to all of you. Otherwise, I think more gyan than was possible. I may have gone over. I was telling Professor Chawla, so an interactive, an impromptu thing is very difficult compared to what we have to do in the class because we have a lesson plan. I hope it makes some sense, but I'm very happy to take questions. As many questions, I would love to take questions. Any questions anybody has, I'm happy. I mean, and then you can go ahead, please. Go ahead. I'll just leave this now because there's no time. My email is here. Professor Chawla and Sukhman, they have my email. Anybody wants to come back, you think you need mentoring, you want industry knowledge, or if you're an IT person, you want to join the IT industry and send me a resume, I'll give it to the persistent guys. That's possible. It's not for electronics or IT guys. We take resumes from anyone. And persistent does come here for hiring, if I'm not wrong. So please apply when persistent comes and take their coding exam. But that's a filter, okay? So unfortunately, because our revenue comes from writing code, if you don't pass their coding exam, it becomes very difficult. But otherwise, there is great value. I'm an IT professional. I'm more than that, I'm a cyber security professional, information security. Any of you guys want to go there, it's a fantastic opportunity. With the opportunity funnel looks like this. Okay, growing all the time. I mean, and cybersecurity can be done by any discipline, by the way. So any of you interested in IT, yes, but more cybersecurity, information security, you can please revert and I'll be happy to engage with you anytime. I have guided lots of interns who work with Persistent, NCIPC, which is the National Agency for Cybersecurity. IT students have been my interns. The last word is please try and get good internships for yourself, okay? Internship is the stepping stone from engineering college to the real profession. Try and land up with some good internships. The 2-month internships many colleges do is worth nothing. So if you can find a 6-month internship, but I don't know whether PEC accommodates 6-month internships. Many universities do now. But if you can get a 6-month internship, the college should permit you saying 2 months, then you can carry on doing your internship. Internships are very valuable. Okay, please, any questions? Any questions? Yeah. एक तो बंदा मिल गया कम से कम. Boss, are you a plant by the student affairs guys के एक बंदा हाथ उठा लेना?
No, sir.
अच्छा ठीक है. नहीं, हम करते हैं प्लांट बॉस. हमारी जो मीटिंग होती है ना AGM हमारी कंपनी की, हमारे 2-3 प्लांट होते हैं कि सवाल पूछो so that we want to tell that to the people.
Sir, you served 37 years in the military and now you are in the corporate world. Don't you think in the military everyone has your back, but in the corporate world it's like dog eats dog. The moment you stop performing, they will kick you out.
बैठ जा. बॉस, मिलिट्री में भी they'll kick you out, okay? Let me just tell you reality. 50% officers, okay, जवान को तो छोड़ दो, 50% officers will not go beyond colonel. They will reach that at 17, 18 years in their career and they'll never get promoted beyond that. You will say they've been kicked out. बस कर्नल बन गया. वो कर्नल वाला काम करो. नहीं बनेगा. Okay? Another lot will become brigadiers. Another lot will become major generals. 2.5% of army officers will become major generals. 1% of army officers will become lieutenant generals. You are right. They will not ask you to leave. Okay? They'll give you a salary and they'll give you work. And if you enjoy work, that's the time to play golf and look after your children. So a lot of people I don't know बहुत सुपरसीड हो गए यार. तो लकी हो साले, हमारे को किसी ने सुपरसीड ही नहीं किया. हम तो मर गए काम कर करके. तो सुपरसीड हो जाते तो ऐश हो जाती. That's what I'm saying. You have to change your objectives. But you are right, it's not the armed forces, okay? The government doesn't throw out people. If you are, I mean, मैं यार तुम्हारे को गलत ज्ञान नहीं देना चाहता हूँ, but आप IAS में चले जाओगे ना, तो you will become minimum lieutenant general additional secretary because वो कभी निकालेंगे ही नहीं तुम्हारे को. Every IAS officer retires minimum as an additional secretary to the government of India. They got a fixed pension, कभी कम नहीं होती है, अगली पे कमीशन में बढ़ जाती है. Okay, those of you who like that sort of thing, जाओ IAS में धक्के खाओ. Nobody is stopping you. Lot of engineer, I mean the biggest intake in IAS from engineers by the way. Okay, so I don't know. अगर वही करना था तो पटना में बहुत पढ़ाइयाँ चल रही हैं या दिल्ली में वो कहाँ नॉर्थ कैंपस के आसपास लोग सिर्फ यही रटे मार रहे हैं, नोट्स बना रहे हैं. एंड आई मेट अ बैंक मैनेजर इन सेक्टर 35. ही सेइंग सर ये तो बैंक तो ठीक है बट मेरा ग्रुप तो वो है जब हमने IAS की तैयारी करी थी वो बंदे 20 जगह चले गए हैं. नोबडी इज गॉन टू IAS भाई थी वे. बट ही सेइंग वो ग्रुप हमारा बड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग है बिकॉज 2 साल हमने बहुत धक्के खाए पढ़ रहे थे बट वो हमारा ट्राइब बन गया उसका. एंड नाउ ही इज वैल्यूइंग दैट ट्राइब. So even if you go and prepare for IAS and don't join IAS, you are okay because you have joined that tribe of IAS preparation. इधर चंडीगढ़ में पहले I don't know, अभी तो everybody has become university. Otherwise छोटे छोटे कॉलेज है, चितकारा में ऐसे क्लास चलती थी. 200 बंदे माइक से प्रोफेसर पढ़ाते हैं उनको और 200 बंदे बैठे. मेरे को मतलब क्या पढ़ते हैं. But I'm just saying that sometimes that is an association that you are going to value for the rest of your life. What happens, I'm just telling you, boss, the associations you value are the ones where you stuck together when you were all under pressure and difficulty. जिस समय तुम्हारी जनरल हैप्पीनेस थी वो ग्रुप किसी को याद नहीं रहता. The groups you are remembering always is the group which went through tough times together. Why the armed forces? We maintain our tribal relationships till people die. Okay, लोग उनके घरों में जाते हैं, funeral होता है, formal होता है. Units maintain relationships with widows and families in villages because they were together in difficult times. It's not that there is any Government of India order to maintain contact with people who were there. So I am telling you, those of who you value these relationships, please go to the armed forces. You will enjoy. It's a fantastic career. I mean, you can look at me, right? At 65, I've done anything that could have been possible. All those guys who are मेरे colleagues in persistent for 15, 20 years, they look at me कि आप तो यार इतना experience है, आप दुनिया देखी हुई है आपने. So look, if that is what you value, right? You want stability, you want community, you want support, you want people to hold you up forever, then please go and join that. Now, private sector में अलग-अलग companies, I want to say this, there is no uniform private sector. You have to find which private companies have better internal people environment. Don't go to an obnoxious environment. Amazon, okay? Anybody knows Amazon is famous for being an obnoxious working environment. But boss, they're going to give you a lot of money. तुम्हारा नाम आएगा, पैक वाले को 2 करोड़ तनख्वाह मिल गई है, अमेजोन में ज्वाइन हो गया, 2 साल के बाद रोते हुए निकलोगे वहां से. Yeah, but you may go to some other company which is more considerate. Microsoft is more considerate. Google वाले तो बोलते हैं हम तो बड़ी वो, Bay Area में वो around they have fantastic life and they say we have a good life. But everybody's got laid off, right? Meta के हो गए ना कल, कितने 11,000 बंदे हटा दिए उसने. हाँ, Twitter के कितने हो गए? Everybody, Twitter India is gone. So look boss, if you have to go to private sector, I am telling you, मैंने slide में ज्ञान देने की कोशिश की है. Uncertainty, alternatives, opportunities. Be open. There is a word I missed talking, serendipity, okay? Please go and look it up in the dictionary. If you are prepared, suddenly good thing can happen at a time and place which you didn't plan for. So serendipity doesn't happen by itself. It happens because you have positioned yourself in a particular manner. I'm a photographer, right? How many photographers here? Anybody? I would recommend to you photography as a very creative and engineering discipline ka mix. It's a fantastic hobby to have. Good photographs, we make a plan कि boss आज पहाड़ी पे जाएंगे. We have an app, okay, ephemeris. वो देखते हैं sun किधर से आएगा, इतने बजे आएगा. We make a plan to shoot a picture at 5:30 p.m. for which we have to leave in the morning, be there, set up our camera, इधर उधर करते हैं. वहाँ 20 बंदे आ जाते हैं एक ही जगह में. वो आप पहले जाते हो कि बॉस ये स्पॉट लेना है मैंने, बाकी बंदे नहीं तो ये स्पॉट ले लेंगे. And yet what we say is when you are going there, please have your tripod and camera loaded and ready because रास्ते में कोई मौका आएगा जो you didn't plan for it. And all the best photographs I have taken in my life were when I stopped my car when I was heading the NCC in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Such fantastic landscape. And my driver had become trained. Sir, camera. I would say, चलते चलते इधर देख रहा है, गाड़ी रोक, फोटो खींचेंगे. वो फटाफट स्टैंड भी लगा देता था. So that is serendipity. Undertake journeys, experiences. Be ready to take the opportunities which will come your way. If you don't go on the journey, opportunity आएगी नहीं भाई. So that's what I can leave for you guys. So yes, private sector में dog eat dog कुछ नहीं है. There are good companies, there are bad companies. Persistent is not a dog eat dog company. I can't stand here and not defend Persistent. Persistent is a fantastic company. We are a people company. People are not dog eat dog treatment नहीं है. But dog eat dog ऐसे है. You have to retrain yourself. Retrain. The idea that एक जगह लग जाओगे और सारी जिंदगी वो करोगे, that life is over. वो चाहिए तो फिर पब्लिक सेक्टर में नौकरी कर लो, आराम से उधर बैठे रहना. Apologies to the professors, they are doing actually quite well, but this is a stable life, right? कैंपस में जगह है, इतना बढ़िया कैंपस है, मर गए मतलब जगह नहीं रहती. तो some of you should become PEC professors. I mean, very nice. And तुम्हारा problem is solved. You become a PEC professor, boss. If you think dog is dog world, then you want to become a PEC professor. Then it's not dog eat dog. Okay. Any other questions? Sorry, I suppose well over time. So, yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for those enlightening words of yours. I'm sure the students were able to gain a lot from it. We really appreciate you for taking out time and gracing us with your presence. Now I would request Puneet ma'am and Abha ma'am to present a token of our appreciation to Amarjeet sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Students are requested to be seated till your branch in charges guide you to your respective venues. Thank you.